Samsung just quietly lowered their sales forecast right before their biggest foldable launch ever, and nobody's asking why. Here's what makes that strange. This isn't a company hedging on a risky product. This is a company that just built what might be the most capable foldable phone on the planet, and internally decided it probably won't outsell last year's version. That doesn't happen by accident, that's a signal. Let me show you what I mean. A few weeks ago, leaks started hitting for the Galaxy Z Fold 8 lineup. Case renders, dummy units, spec numbers, the usual. But buried inside a supply chain report out of Korea, one line stopped everything. Samsung had revised their total sales target down, nearly 1 million units, gone, before a single phone shipped. Now companies lower forecasts all the time. Supply issues, component delays, market slowdowns. Fine. But this one came with a reason. And the reason is the part that changes how you see this entire launch. First, you need to understand what Samsung is actually releasing this summer, because it's not what most people think. There are 3 phones: the Flip 8, something called the Fold 8 Wide, and the Fold 8 Ultra. When you see all 3 side by side, there are real leaked images of this now. The Ultra doesn't just look bigger, it looks like it belongs to a different company, a different era. Like Samsung made a phone and then made a statement and decided to sell both. The Wide is a completely redesigned version of the regular Fold. Wider screen, different proportions, different feel. Not a successor, a reinvention. And the Flip 8, this is where it gets dark. Multiple sources are now saying the Flip 8 could be the last Samsung flip phone ever. And when you look at the numbers, it actually makes sense. A few years ago, flip foldables were the dominant form factor. 7 out of every 10 foldables sold worldwide were flips. People love them. Affordable, fun, pocketable. That number is now less than 1 in 10. The entire category collapsed in under 3 years. Everything Samsung has learned about foldables, every crease, every hinge complaint, every camera limitation, they poured it into one device. And now they're watching to see if the market responds. The display uses laser-drilled metal support technology specifically engineered to reduce the fold crease, not minimize it, reduce it. Samsung has been shipping foldables since 2019. This is the first time they've directly attacked that crease at a structural level. That's not an upgrade. That's an admission that it's been a problem for 6 years. The chip inside is the fastest mobile processor available right now. Not fastest in a foldable. Fastest, period. And the camera, 200 megapixels, 8K video, 30 times zoom. But here's the detail that actually tells you what Samsung is doing. There's a new photo mode, 24 megapixels, debuted on the S26 Ultra earlier this year. Smart, efficient, cleaner files. On the Fold 8 Ultra, it's built directly into the camera app, native, no setup required. But the S25 Ultra, a phone with a 200 megapixel sensor, physically more capable of running this feature, Samsung didn't enable it. They could have. It's a software decision. They looked at the S25 Ultra and said no. Now ask yourself, why would a company deliberately hold a feature back from a device that can already run it? Because features aren't just features anymore. They're gates. Samsung is building a hierarchy: Flip, Wide, Ultra, so that each tier feels meaningfully different. Not slightly better, categorically different. So that when you're deciding what to buy, the answer isn't which one has the best specs. The answer is which one am I? And that hierarchy only works if the top tier feels unreachable from below. So you hold features, you build exclusives, you give the Ultra an accessory, the carbon standing case, that until now only existed on the $2,000 trifold. You make the Ultra feel like it belongs to a different class. Then, you price it accordingly. Because here's the part of that supply chain report that nobody wants to say out loud. Component costs have risen. Manufacturing these phones costs Samsung more than it did last year. And when costs go up and forecasts go down, there's really only one move left. The price goes up too. The launch is reportedly set for July 22nd. London, not New York, not San Francisco, London. Samsung has held these events in the US for years. Moving it to Europe, that's intentional. Different press, different energy, different story, and the Fold 8 Ultra will be standing there at the center of it. 8-inch screen unfolded, 4.1 millimeters thin. 215 grams, the thinnest, lightest, most capable foldable Samsung has ever made, ready to prove something. But here's what I keep coming back to. Samsung already knows this phone won't be their highest selling product this year. They've accepted that. The forecast is locked. The expectations are managed. So this launch isn't really about volume. It isn't about beating last year's numbers. It's about something harder to measure. It's about whether a foldable, a real foldable, with a real price tag at real premium quality, can make someone feel like they bought the future, not a gadget, not a gimmick. the future. And if it can't, then Samsung has a much bigger problem than one missed sales target, because it would mean the entire category, 6 years of engineering, billions in R&D, thousands of hinge prototypes, might be hitting a ceiling that no amount of laser drilling can break through. The phone isn't out yet, but Samsung already knows how this story probably ends. The question is whether you do too. Is the foldable market actually going somewhere? Or is this the most expensive experiment in mobile history that nobody will admit has stalled? Tell me what you actually think, not what the specs say, what your gut says.